pushing this one out. Thank you. Pulling this one into the garage so we can tear this one down so we can put the twins on it, finally. I've been talking about it for a while, but finally, we're gonna put twins on this thing. Got the car in the garage. Gonna get it prepped for tear down for those back girls. On3 Twin 60 kit. But we're gonna start with getting this bumper off, jacking it up, getting the wheels and tires off, and draining coolant. We'll start there. Got the car all jacked up, got the wheels and tires taken off. We gotta remove these S550 front brakes because they will not fit the SVE front runners for this car. So I gotta downsize to the S197 brakes again, sadly, but it is what it is. We're gonna get down to taking this bumper off. It's pretty simple. 2 bolts there and like 4 bolts underneath. Pop that off. Got the front bumper off. Austin's working on getting the splash guard off to free up space so we can drain the coolant out of here. And then we are also going to remove this hood so we can free up some space in the engine bay. Got the hood off. Already started draining the coolant. Looks like it's very little coolant and a lot of water. And good thing we drained this because this thing will be sitting in the winter time, probably not in a heated garage. So you guys know what happens when you have water and freezing temperatures. It's never good. Getting that out of here. And then next we are going to take apart the intake manifold and get to the fuel. So I said we were going to get to removing the manifold, but we're actually going to continue with the coolant stuff by removing this reservoir, getting this fan shroud out of the way, and then also getting this radiator out of the way. Pretty simple. These are Allen heads. Previous owner put these on, so not normal from factory, but it's doable. 10 mils everywhere on this car. Got the coolant reservoir taken off.
Almost. One more.
Got 3 hoses. And should be off.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there you go. Just break it.
Just the cap.
We got a replacement one right here that I got online. Got a powder coated black, because everything in this thing is probably most likely going to be black. So another hose running to the back of the radiator.
You're gonna have to wait.
One big clamp.
You're gonna have to wait.
For what?
For me to get
Is it crusty?
Yeah, alright, you can start now if you want.
Alright, it's crusty. Pull it off. She'll spit on it. There you go. Hey, I hate the smell of coolant.
Love it.
I hate it. It's never a good sign.
Sure.
Fan shroud's almost out.
It's out now.
Yeah, it's out now, but bolt here. Bolt right here. And then you have a plug-in that plugs into the back of the fan. Now that's out. 2 10 mils right here. It's got 1 hose there. 1 hose down here. 2 bolts each side. And she comes right out. Before you can pull this radiator out, don't forget to...
You gotta disconnect the lines, go into the AC condenser if you want to take it out as well. But use this up here that's next to your fuse box, and you can get the pressure out of the system so that it doesn't blow up in your face and get Freon everywhere. And then you got 2 13mm nuts on the passenger side of the radiator. I can't get my hand down there.
I don't know if you can see that, but you get the idea. Passenger side of the radiator, you'll see them, can't miss them. This right here is what we're talking about with the AC line.
Once that nut's off, that just pulls off. And then your radiator and AC condenser are free to come out.
wiggle it a little. Give her some love.
And we're gonna drain out the rest of the coolant that's in the radiator and set it off to the side.
So yeah, she's open. So now that all the cooling's out of the way, radiator, fan, we're gonna work on the radiator support and the front sway bar support. We're gonna get this big piece out of the way. We have brackets to replace all this, and running no front sway bar. What it takes is
taking off the end links up front, and then there's two 18mm bolts that are holding the sway bar, or holding the radiator support to the frame.
we already did this side. That one's already done. It was cross-threaded, but we're not using the front sway bar, so I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, now we have a few more bolts to knock off down here and drop the support out of the way. Here are the new brackets right here. They are from On3. Right here, if I can hold them right. And these right here will just sit down underneath here. And then just use the factory grommets to put back into here. So the brackets I just showed you are replacing that whole support.
Unit?
Yeah, it's a unit. Don't scratch my wheels, man.
Oh my.
You break them, you buy them. Just kidding. Hey, you guys know anybody need some 5x114 rotiform KPS wheels? Let your mans know, because I need those gone. It's getting there. Slowly but surely making progress. Currently working on getting this battery out of here. Once that's out of the way and all disconnected, we're going to be removing some of these lines out of the way and then getting this manifold out. We got 4 bolts here, and then you got about 8, I think, on the manifold.
Yeah, there's 8 total.
8 total bolts. I don't know, 8 or 6, whatever it is. He's removing a ground wire from the fuse box. We just had to disconnect this AC line, which is right back here. Get that out of the way so when we're ready to pull the motor, it's not in the way or connected. And then we also are removing these connectors off the ECU, which when we pull this motor, we're gonna try to leave the whole harness on this to make it easier whenever we drop it back in. But after that, we're gonna move on to the manifold, get everything removed there, and get ourselves a lift plate in order to get this motor out of here, because we were originally going to not use a lift plate and try to figure out something else, but we ended up finding a lift plate from a local buddy, so coming in clutch. Once we get all this disconnected and working on the manifold, we'll catch you back. So we're digging into getting these fuel rails off and getting these injectors out, and along with the manifold. And to do so, it's these two bolts right here. Get this little cover off, and then you got 2 10 mils right here for your fuel rails. Just undo those, and fuel rails should come loose after that, and pop that off. And then once we get the fuel rails out of here, we'll be able to undo the manifold bolts, and then she'll be out. Also went ahead and already got the throttle body taken off. 1 plug in at the bottom, which is right there, and then 4 bolts. Super easy. About to pull off this fuel rail. You got to disconnect these little connectors on the fuel rail to the injectors. So once you disconnect those, wiggle her loose. Both sides are loose. Yeah, got them all off. This side's done. Your side's done. Pop it up.
I gotta take this coolant hose off.
Quit yelling at your dogs, man. Even though they're messing up the vlog, but we gotta remove this little line here. And fuel rails will be able to pop off. Just spit on it.
Doesn't work for everything.
Oh. Wow. Couldn't see this earlier, but move your hand, get some up in there. You got 1 bolt back here, 1 right there, and then 1 right there. So there's 6 to answer that question that we were struggling with earlier. And then same on this side, 1, 2, and 3. Somewhere up there. Bang. Also loose. Pop this bag rail out. So with the manifold off, makes it 10 times easier to get these top bell housing bolts off the back of the motor. We already got one off. But yeah, if you try to take that transmission out with that manifold on, you have to go from under the car and it's just a pain. With the manifold off, thankfully we had to take that off anyways, makes it 10 times easier to disconnect all this. So once that's off, we'll have to disconnect the rest of the bolts that are connected to the back of the motor. You're not gonna be able to see anything under there. So we got all the transmission bolts out, starters out, and now we are just working on the motor mount bolts. Obviously one on each side. This one right here is going to be a pain to get to though. Kind of hard to see, but long tubes are going to be kind of in the way, so we're going to have to be creative about this one because it's going to be a pain to get it out, but we'll get it. Is it going? Yeah, it's going. Alright, so this is weird. This is super weird.
It's really cool though.
It's kind of nice.
But it's weird.
Damn! Okay, so it's kind of nice because you don't have to like hold anything.
Yeah.
My hands are free.
With my hands.
Oh no, I feel weird. I feel like I'm holding a camera. So as you can see, motor's partially out, but we're coming into an issue with these long tubes, and we are currently in the process of pulling these things out. So once these things get out, we should be able to just lift it up and be good to go. Still working on this side too. We're hoping we don't have to pull these, but we're gonna pull that side first because we're almost got all the bolts out. And then once we get that header out, we're gonna see if we can wiggle enough to get this out because we're struggling big time. Change of plans. We are actually going to be taking out the O2 sensors because now they are hitting the transmission as we pull this out. Pretty sure the other side's doing the same thing. No. But they're still gonna have to be pulled out because it's still gonna hit the casing of the transmission. Instead of pulling the headers, we're gonna pull off these O2s and hopefully this thing will just slide on out of here. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I just want you out already. Please. There's one O2. So I get the driver's side and because I'm ready to have this thing heartless. Heartless and ready for some turbos. On 360s. And then Austin today wrapped up these headers, or header. Currently working on the other one. You getting her dad's strength?
I'm moving the whole engine.
Good. There she goes. Nice.
Yeah, but it's
What?
up against the transmission.
Do I need to pull this? Will it do anything?
Drop some down.
Yes, my stuff. So we got the motor out of the car, got the long tubes taken off, cleaned up the engine bay a little bit. In the next video you guys see of this thing will be with the motor going back into the car with the forward facing On3 headers. So stay tuned for that and thanks for watching.